This is the Kitchen Sink WP podcast, episode 439.
I program my home computer.
We have a server crash, 404 error, page not found, links aren't working, system is crashing, system is crashing, system is crashing.
Your old HTML website, barely alive. We have the technology. We have WordPress. A new website, better than it was before. Better, stronger, faster. Why, hello everybody, this is Adam Silver, the host of the Kitchen Sink WP podcast. Thanks for being here. Let's get started. All right, upcoming events. Sadly, once again, no upcoming events next weekend. So there's that. All right, moving on, segment one. In the news, a couple of things to talk about here. First and foremost, attackers have scanned 1.6 million WordPress websites for the vulnerable plugin that has a critical severity flaw. That plugin happens to be the WP Bakery page builder. So apparently it's been abandoned by the author. I didn't know that. I mean, I know we don't use it. We don't like it. We actually refuse to work with it if we can, which we normally do. 98% of the time, we just say no. Sometimes some clients, historically speaking, we'll step in where we can just to patch something real quick. But yeah, this is just another nail in the coffin, in my opinion. So there's a link in the show notes. It was written up by, was it Bleeping Computer? Yeah, Bleeping Computer revealed this or had a big post about it last week. So check that out in the show notes if you're interested in knowing more about it. But yeah, 1.6 million sites are running that bakery plugin. Can't be good, so you want to move off of that as soon as possible, in my opinion. All right, moving on. Call for speakers is now open for the WordPress Accessibility Day 2022. That event is actually November 2nd and 3rd. So if you're wanting to speak about accessibility, by all means, you should apply. Link in the show notes there as well. And lastly, in the news, my WordPress photo project is still going strong. I'm enjoying doing it. Every day I get up, I do the whole review of what's in my photo roll. I save, pictures best I can. I save them, I export them. Anyway, if you want to follow along, you can. Just go to Twitter and type in the hashtag KSWP_photo, and you'll see which pictures are out. And if you're in any, I try to tag best I can based on who I recognize and who I see. So there you go. All right, moving on. Segment 2. This week's episode, the meat and potatoes, is a listener Q&A. It's been 8 weeks. Wow, it's been 8 weeks already. So here we go. I have 3 questions. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 3 questions. And let's go with the first one. This was sent in by Carlos. If I'm not mistaken, you're using Pipedrive. I wonder, how do you get the info into that system, automatically or manually? This is from Carlos, like I said. Cool. So thanks for the question, Carlos. Yes, I still use Pipedrive. I have 2 methods that I get my leads into Pipedrive. First being a connection through Evernote, which is my oldest way of doing it. And I actually have, I think it's in the ebook that I wrote. I use Evernote. I know it's crazy. People are gasping. What? He uses Evernote? I do. I'm grandfathered into an old pricing model. So I use it as a digital file cabinet. I forward stuff to it all the time. And it works for me in this case. So I have an Evernote with Zapier that I can take a picture or a screenshot, I guess a URL, and send it to Evernote, and then Zapier sees my Evernote and sends it to Pipedrive and puts it in in my new leads folder, or pipeline, I guess is what you call it. So that's one way I do it. And of course, I do things manually as well. If I see an opportunity or if someone emails me, past client, I can create a new proposal or a new, not proposal, but a new lead opportunity, if you will. Tag the current client that's already in the system, but I will do that manually as well. So not that difficult to really manage, honestly. Now, on top of that, and funny and ironically enough on the timing, I was literally just talking to my friend Jessie about this, because her company is also using Pipedrive, though they may be switching, but they use Gravity Forms to do this. And I dove into that just a little bit. I found out that Gravity Forms has an add-on made by a company called Help for WP that makes it, I guess, easier to connect to Gravity Forms. From Pipedrive to Gravity, or Gravity Forms to Pipedrive, excuse me. Like I said, it's called, what did I say? I forgot what it's called. It's called Gravity Forms to Pipedrive CRM. It's an add-on for Gravity Forms, right? So it's $65. I just typed in the word save 20, and I got 20% off if you want to get a discount. I don't know if people do that or not, or if I'm the only one. I type in custom codes all the time. I'll just say save 20, save 10, And more often than not, I get discount built into it. But there's that. I have no connection to them whatsoever. They have the plugin. Jessie said she has it as well, but I'm not sure if she's using that or using a Zap. She mentioned that they also have a Zap that you could probably do this with as well. So there you go, Carlos. I think that'll help you. So I'm still using Pipedrive. I'm not leaving it anytime soon. I considered it, but right now I don't save any money, and it's doing what I needed to do. So, all right, moving on. Second question here. Can I update the username that I use to log in to my WordPress admin area? This is sent in by Marco. Well, Marco, short answer, no. Longer answer, yes, sort of. And I've had to do this for a few clients in the past. The only real way to do this is to create a new account. But first you want to create it and then delete the old one. But you want to create the new account first, give it the right permissions, let's say an admin, and then log out, log in with the new account, and then delete the old one. But remember to assign any posts or pages or content to that new account, that new user, because otherwise they're going to be gone. They just get dumped from the database. So it's doable. It's a couple steps. So so there you go. There's that. I think that's what you're asking about admin. Yeah, the username. Yeah. So yeah, the login name, username. Yeah, that's how you do it. Okay. You can have it show things like if your username was R Smith, you could have it show up differently. You can have it say it's going to be Robert Smith, but that's just based on the nickname, right? So there you go. All right. And last question here. What's the difference between poaching versus marketing and sales as it relates to marketing to a company that may already have an established relationship with a competitor? Oh, let me say that one more time. What's the difference between poaching versus marketing and sales as it relates to a company that may already have an established relationship with a competitor? Yeah, good question. This is sent in by Anonymous. I think I know who this is because it's relevant in the timing. Well, good question. Fantastic question, really. A few items of note here. I personally have experience with this question as well. I've gone down this road. And because I'm often curious to know who built a site that I see as old and in need of help. Like if you come across sites that just look dated and old, who built it? So I might dig into the code. I might look at the footer. So with that, and asking some of my colleagues, we and I agree that sales is sales. Cold calling, emailing, even sending out physical mail is fair game. Reaching out to tell people about your services, like you get the stuff in the mail every day of the week, except for Sundays in the States, it's marketing, it's sales, right? So that's what it takes. Now on that level, cold calling is a numbers game. You just have to keep doing it, let people know you exist to get any conversion, right? It's all about numbers versus a warm lead or a nice referral from a current or previous client. Those are much easier to handle and to manage, obviously, less selling on your part because someone's already recommended your services. So now on the issue of the term poaching clients, now I tend to define this differently, I think. For example, if my company was hired 6 months ago, actually 9 months ago, to be white labeled for another larger agency, right? I've mentioned that in the past. Now, if I try to take one of those clients away from the main agency and create a direct relationship, that would be poaching in my opinion. And of course, I wouldn't do that. It's unethical. And it's in the contract that I signed with that other agency not to do that. So that to me is poaching. When you're actually taking clients from, trying to take somebody away from an existing relationship that you know better, in the situation where it's like you've been introduced to somebody. Yeah, I think it makes sense the way I just said it. So yeah, especially in my case, the white labeling, the company hired me, my company to do work. I can't take their client. They own the client. That's simple as that. So now if a client reaches out to me and says, hey, we want to work with you instead, that's a conversation to have with the main client owner, in my opinion. This has happened as well. When I was doing Macintosh consulting years and years ago, like 25 years ago, this would happen a lot where they just worked with me all the time and they just wanted to work with me consistently and call me directly. And sometimes I would just reach out to my old boss and my old guy. They white labeled me, Chuck. Chuck would do that actually. And I say, hey, Chuck, Robin wants to just work with me. She doesn't want to call you anymore. What do you want to do? And he would say, okay or no. Or maybe there's a small buyout. Maybe I give him a percentage for the next, 3 or 4 consults. I don't know. There's something to be said there. You can work that out. So there you go. Those are the questions this week. This round, next one will be in 8 weeks from now as well. If you have them, send them in. So, all right, moving on. Segment 3, tip and tool of the week. This one is called extract.pics. It's extract.pics. You can extract images from any public website using a virtual browser. It's kind of cool. I checked this out. A friend of a friend recommended it. If you're trying to just download images off of a site, you type in the URL, you click extract, and it brings all the images into a place where you can just kind of download them. Of course, you don't own them. They're not for you to use for free in that case, but you can use them for, I guess, I don't know, backing up or something, or just check it out. It's free. I looked into it, and I thought it might be interesting to you as well. All right, let me wrap it up here. If you have any questions, go ahead and send it in via email, adam@kitchensinkwp.com, or use that speak pipe function on the website. If you want to support the show, that'd be awesome. Become a Patreon. You can also sponsor this show. There's a form on the website. Thanks for listening. See you next week. Now go out and do some awesome things with WordPress. All right? Bye-bye.